could go all the way.
To the North Valley's own Jerry Olinen.
When you're telling these little stories, here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
Is there heaven? Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
On KKXX Life Radio, this is live local talk.
All right, welcome to the show. I really had my doubts about putting this gentleman on the air, but I've decided to do so because there is a lot of things on the web about the end of the world prophecy taking place on the palindrome date of 12/21/12, December 21st, 2012. That this is on the Mayan calendar when the end of the world will happen, or there will be a significant change in the way we live our lives. And there is a 41-year-old gentleman. His name is Daniel Eli. He's the author of the book, The Final Book of Daniel. You could find it on finalbookofdaniel.com. And he lives in Chico, and he claims, he is convinced that he is a reincarnated Old Testament prophet, Daniel. And that in itself made me really question whether we should do this, but I thought we would open up the phones as well if anybody wants to call and challenge the prophet Daniel, 892-4844, or question me on whether or not it was wise to even put this person on the air. But I want to give him a chance. And also joining me is Vince Haney, a pastor in Chapmantown and the executive director of the Love Chapmantown Coalition. First of all, before we get to the prophet Daniel and Chico, Vince, we've heard these stories before with Harold Camping back on May 21st, 2011. That was supposed to be the end of the world, and we've heard other people make claims. And from a scriptural basis, what's your belief on this?
Well, I got to go back to what Jesus said. He says, no man knows the day, time, or hour, or even minute that the end will come. So I'm just going to leave it at that. No man knows.
Right. Well, apparently this man does. Daniel Eli, he's a man in Chico, and welcome to the show, Daniel.
Hi, Jerry.
I'm sure you could probably cut the skepticism with a knife that we have in our studio because we've heard these tales before.
I understand them.
Okay. First of all, the idea that you're a prophet, you're the second coming of Daniel, is that right?
That's right.
When do you believe this happened?
It happened after it took a few years of spiritual growth, but in meditation in October of 1999, God spoke to me for the first time as a previously atheist agnostic, of all things, and told me that I was the reincarnation of Daniel of the Bible, and from that point forward, an incarnate angel. So it's like a two-in-one deal here. It wasn't just that I was told that I was the reincarnation of Daniel, but also an angel and with visible wings.
How many people believe you?
It's about half will believe without testimonies or anything. About half will believe. The other half immediately will not believe, and they'll assume it's delusion or false prophet or schizophrenia or something like that.
Well,
that's understandable because there's a lot of people, claiming to be Jesus and Cleopatra and all that. The thing is, I actually walk the talk instead of just claiming to be something.
Okay, you have a question, Vince?
No.
Well, what are Vince? Vince is skeptical too, and I think all of our listeners are, to be honest with you. And tie this into the Mayan calendar where they talk about the end of the world. When you talk about the end of the world, what are you saying is going to happen? What do you believe the end of the world means? I mean, complete extinction of the planet, or what do you believe?
No, what happened was in August 3rd, the year 2000, which is like 12 years ago. Actually, this is exactly 12 years ago to this day. I was physically transported into the future by a powerful angel while I lived in Boise, Idaho, and I witnessed the last 5 to 10 minutes of the end of the world, the ascension of the planet Earth, the dissolving of the elements, the second coming of Christ. I witnessed all that, the last 5 to 10 minutes until what we know as time ended, and then it completes a new cycle, but basically, it's an ascension of the earth. It's the end of the world as we know it. And here's the thing. You said that no one knows the date or the hour, right, the exact day. But that doesn't mean we have no clue whatsoever. See, everything that I saw in those last 5-10 minutes is actually related to the whole Mayan calendar timing because of the sense that I got that everything was exponentially growing until we reached a 0 point. Now, the thing I don't do is set exact dates. I'm not saying it's going to be on December 21st. It very well could be, but I'm not actually going to state that.
So you think it's coming, it's happening sometime during the calendar year?
Yeah.
Right.
It could be like December 23rd, or the point is that it's close enough that, and the very fact that I'm the reincarnation of Daniel of the Bible and had this vision, which I know very few people have actually been physically transported a decade previously into the future to witness what very few people in history ever have.
Daniel, tell me about your life. Tell me about what you've done in your life. Where did you grow up? What kind of things you did in your life? You're 41 years old. Tell me about yourself.
Briefly, I was born and raised in Canada, Winnipeg, Manitoba, where it's very cold. It's minus 30 degrees for weeks at a time, and I decided, since I was a dual citizen, because my father's American, that I would move to the States in 1995, and that began a solitary journey across the United States. I lived in Florida, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Boise, Idaho, and now I live in Chico, California, where we are here for the past 8 years.
Who's we?
Where I'm assuming this is a Chico radio station?
Yes, but who's we? Who else lives with you?
No, we, like you and me.
Okay, so you live alone?
Yes.
Ever married, kids?
No marriages, no kids. Been celibate since I left Canada.
Okay, and what do you do? Have you been working? What kind of jobs you been doing since you came here?
Well, primarily internet type of I'm an author, so I sell books and I try to make a living at it, but it doesn't always pay well exactly. But I've done jobs like laundry, janitor, security guard, parking lot attendant, telesurveyor, telemarketer.
Daniel Eli, we got to take a quick break because that music means you have a computer-generated commercial we have to go to, and it's going to cut you off. I don't want that to happen. I want to have you a chance to finish your thoughts. We'll be right back after this break.
Thanks.
Jerry Olinen here for ABC Books. If you're looking to save money and get quality new and used books, try ABC Books in Chico. They're at the corner of East and Cohasset near Walgreens. Stop in, say hi to their friendly staff. They can show you how you can save 50 to 90% off new and used books. You never know what hidden gems you may find there. Call ABC Books today at 893-4342. 893-4342. ABC Books, where saving money is as easy as ABC. As parents, we know there are many options for the education of our children. Champion Christian School has been in our community since 1991. Because of their caring staff and challenging curriculum, their students have gone on to top colleges and universities, including Baylor, UC Davis, USC, and West Point. Champion Christian School is fully accredited, offering quality academic and athletic programs for grades 7 through 12. Visit them online at ychampion.org or call 345-8008 and make an appointment to visit their fine campus. Champion Christian School, educating champions for Christ. Here's a new idea for landscape supplies: low prices. We found the best possible price in town at Focal Point Landscape. They're almost half the price of every other landscape supply in Chico. That's Focal Point Landscape at 570-7805. Only $21 per yard for road base and $19 per yard for pea gravel. Specializing in compost, mulch, and garden soil for only $35 per yard. Call today at 570-7805. 570-7805. Focal Point Landscape, the best price in town for landscape supplies.
Hi, this is your friend Steve Michaels, inviting you to join me for a journey through the 20th century on the Afternoon Harvest, weekday afternoons from 3 until 6 p.m. on 104.5 FM and 9:30 a.m. KKXX Life Radio.
This is live local talk.
Tonight is Blessing of the Grapes over at the Abbey of New Clairvaux. The monks in Vina will. It's a beautiful ceremony. They come out in their dress white robes and they chant. They hold a cross up and they do a procession down this. It's just beautiful. And they're out in front of the vineyards, the Sinceri wine, which is the family that makes the wine, the winemaker, and then the abbot and Father Paul Mark Schwann blesses the great vineyard and hopeful for a bountiful harvest. It's tonight at 5 o'clock at the Abbey of New Clairvaux. Actually, it starts right at about 5:40, 5:45. It ends very quickly, but it's going to be very crowded. There were about 600 people last year, so keep that in mind if you do want to come out and take part in the blessing of the grapes over at the Abbey of New Clairvaux in Vine. It's going to be hot, that's for sure, so I would suggest wearing shorts. 102 degrees is our expected high today, 93 on Saturday, 97 and cloudy on Sunday. We've been talking with a Chico man who is convinced he is a reincarnated Old Testament prophet, Daniel. He's a 41-year-old man. He's currently unemployed. He's written a book called Final Book of Daniel. It's on finalbookofdaniel.com. And it's in relation, Daniel's a member of the East Avenue Church. He is one of two witnesses predicted, and he says he is one of two witnesses predicted in Revelation. And he said he was sent to Chico to warn us about December 21st, 2012. And I really have my doubts about, putting this gentleman on the air. But, I'm speaking with Vince Haney, a pastor in Chapmantown, and you seem to think that, what did you want to say about this, about Daniel?
Well, during the commercial break, I just said I was a little intrigued by it because I understand what the scripture says. It says, be careful how you treat people, I'm paraphrasing, treat strangers, because some unknowingly have entertained angels. So he very well could be an angel.
You never know. Anything is
possible.
possible.
And the scripture says all things are possible to him who believes. If he believes in an angel, he may be.
And you know what, Daniel, what do you say about that?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give you the so-called proof that you want, that I'm not just some crazy deluded schizophrenic. Okay, see, I understand that reaction. By the way, the amount of persecution I've had to deal with over the past decade has been astronomical, but I still continue on. My predictive accuracy rate since 1998, before my awakening, I was acting as a prophet, but since October 98, it's all documented in historical, unalterable archives. I predicted that Y2K would be a non-event, that Bush would become president a year in advance, that there would be a 2001 recession. I predicted the stock market crashes of spring of 2000 very accurately, months in advance. Also, here's the most important part. On January 17th, year 2001, I passed judgment, as a divine prophet, against Iraq and Saddam Hussein, and said that Bush will, or shall, divinely, invade Iraq. And that was in January 2001, way before 9/11, way before talk of weapons of mass destruction. Now, if I were a deluded nutcase, how could I know that far in advance that Bush would invade Iraq and kill Saddam Hussein? I even stated, Saddam, you shall die.
Okay, well, some of those things, quite frankly, Daniel, to be honest with you, and I hate to be skeptical and take the air out of the balloon, but there's a lot of people who predict that there's going to be a tech bubble. There are people that predict there's going to be a housing bubble. They're called economists. And there are people who predicted that that Bush was going to be elected in 2000. Those are called political pundits. And a year in advance, Bush was planning to run for president well before then. So there's a lot of people that would have predicted that Bush would have been president. I don't remember what some of the other predictions you lay claim to, but I'm saying that, and you also are not telling me the predictions you made that did not come true, that were not accurate. So I only know what you tell me. Are there what kind of predictions did you make that did not occur?
Basically none.
Okay.
They've all virtually, up until now, they've been virtually, biblical in nature. I've never made I've never said, the stock market will crash on such and such a date, and that date never arrives until recently. But see, these are all archives that, for any diligent researcher, I know most people are too lazy to do this, but you can go to the unalterable archives, third-party archives, right, that are unalterable, and I back everything up with claims that are made years ago.
Harold Camping made a prediction that the end of the world was going to take place on May 21st, 2011.
Yeah.
He was wrong.
Yeah.
And he came out recently, to his credit, in my opinion, and said he was wrong, and that he regretted the predictions he made, and he apologized. And he said everything that he believed in over the course of his lifetime, of his adult life, was wrong. And I have admiration for him to be able to acknowledge that and admit it and to confess it. Will you do the same if on December 21st, 2012, everything goes as is? Will you do the same thing that Harold Camping did?
Basically, I'm 100% confident because
he said that too.
Yeah, but I was physically there for it. He's going by the biblical interpretation.
Other people were certain, like you too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm.
Of course, if I was wrong, of course I would stand up and say.
And then you would acknowledge that you were not a prophet.
I would, of course, I would.
You would say that you maybe...
I would even say stone me to death.
No, nobody wants to see you stoned to death. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want to see you injured.
That's illegal.
Or hurt. No, we don't want that. Nobody wants that. What we would say is, maybe if that's the case, and it doesn't happen, and December 21st goes as planned.
Well,
then
again,
would you go talk to somebody about this? Maybe talk to somebody about getting some help. Maybe.
Well, here's the thing. I have a 98% accuracy rate in giving psychic readings, and Vince, who you just spoke yesterday, he put me to the test, and he put an image or idea in his mind, and I was supposed to read that image, right?
We got to go to a break. You can eat great food. You'll find a great place at Paradise's Place Restaurant, formerly the Golden Waffle, downtown Chico, across from Chico Natural Foods. They're proud to serve great American food with a great variety of plates. Every morning from 6 to 9, enjoy a complete ham and eggs breakfast for only $3.99. And don't forget their $4.99 lunch specials from 11 to 2. Paradise's Place is open 7 days a week. They serve orders to go at 891-1940. 891-1940. Paradise's Place, downtown Chico.
Terra Design and Landscape Consulting serves Northern California with landscape design and irrigation surveys and audits. Their goal is to help you simplify the landscaping process. Whether you're a landscape architect, city planner, developer, landscape contractor, or homeowner, they are confident their service will assist you in implementing your next landscaping project. That's Terra Design and Landscape Consulting. Give them a call to set up an appointment or to discuss how they can serve you. 520-5467. That's 520-5467 for Terra Design and Landscape Consulting.
Treat her to an amazing facial and massage from Spa Pyramid for just $120. Just pick up the phone and call 894-4091 to reserve her appointment or purchase a gift card today. Spa Pyramid is located right across the street from Walmart. 894-4091.
Reserve her appointment or purchase a gift card today. Pick up the phone and call 894-4091.
Spa Pyramid, the body and skincare specialist.
Free event to all men. Come to the Glenbrook Apartment Clubhouse every Wednesday night at 7 for a men's host group. Learn how to live the blessed life. Wednesday night at 7. Go to 1550 Springfield Drive here in Chico or call David at 354-1730.
Welcome to the North Valley's own Jerry Olinen.
Ask yourself, what kind of example are you setting for others?
With all due respect, sir, I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
On KKXX Life Radio. This is live local talk.
A Chico man is named Daniel Eli. He says he is reincarnated Old Testament prophet Daniel. He says that the end of the world will take place December 21st, 2012. I am allowing him on the show because there has been discussion through the Mayan calendar that would be the end of times. He's written a book, finalbookofdaniel.com. I'm very skeptical. But a friend of mine who was part of the show, Vince Haney, a pastor, says that he had an experience. Daniel, we'll get back to you in a second. Tell us about what happened yesterday when you talked to Daniel.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, well, yesterday he asked me to put him through the test. And I happened to be on Craigslist, and I was looking at vehicles, and this vehicle name that I was focused on was a Pontiac Grand Prix. And he didn't know I was looking at that, and he said, well, put me to the test. What are you thinking about right now? And he said, think about what you're thinking about right now, and I'm going to say it. And I knew what I was focused on, the Pontiac Grand Prix. And he says, something to do with race cars.
So that's interesting.
That was close.
Is that pretty much the way it went, Daniel?
Yes, that's about it.
All right. Well, I don't want to be one of the. I'll put you to the test. I wrote a number down between 1 and 100. Right now, I'm looking at the number.
86.
Not close.
Okay. Well, it doesn't always. It's not 100% accurate, like 100% of the time, because I'm still human. I still have a human body and human potential for error. Mm-hmm. So you can't say that, like, even the prophets of the Bible, sometimes they make mistakes, right? So you can't expect, like, absolute, unbelievable odds all the time. Now, here's another thing. It's one thing to claim to be an angel. It's another thing to have visible wings, right? Now, I have 13 stories documented from a decade ago where I was in bars, churches, libraries, government offices where visible wings of light were radiating from my back and everyone saw them, complete strangers. Now, I have on my website, if you go to endtimeprophet2012.com, that's where I make the updates for, it's not finalbookofdaniel.com for the new stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a testimony. My next-door neighbor, Brenda, said that she saw my wings, and I've not coerced her to say anything. I'm not paying her. She says she comes on video there, and she explains when she saw my wings.
What's your name again? What's your name again?
Brenda.
Is Brenda? I mean this is serious. I don't mean this. I'm not trying to make a joke. Mm-hmm. I'm not making a joke when I say this. Has there been any type of drugs involved with any of these folks? I mean, you got to be honest. I mean, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I want to make sure that I'm, because there's a lot of people listening here that are going to be, Jerry, why are you putting this person on the air? And I feel like it is my duty to at least question this, because there's a lot of people that make these kind of allegations, and every time they make these type of predictions, every single one of them has been wrong. Every single person who has predicted the end of the world and given a specific date or time or thereabouts, you know what? Every one has been wrong. Not one has been right. And so we're supposed to believe that you are going to be the one who's going to be right. So you understand why I'm skeptical and why the whole world is skeptical.
See, I'm skeptical too. You have to understand, I'm not gullible. I'm open-minded, but I'm hoping you sound you're open-minded enough to allow me on the air. That's number one.
Right.
But see, I understand that because there's a lot of deluded people. Just go to any mental institution, you'll find someone claiming to be Jesus, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, again, I'm walking the talk. Visible wings, prophetic accuracy, passing judgment on Iraq. And on July 17th, I'll give you another example. I cleared an entire overcast sky above Chico, California, with about a dozen different eyewitnesses that I did so. And that's all verifiable with phone numbers and everything. I cleared the entire sky within minutes.
Okay, I'll tell you what. You get me those people, you get me those numbers, and you bring them on between now and December 21st. You get all of them. You bring them to the studio in person.
All right.
You bring all of the evidence you have, and I will let you go back on the air and present what you have to say. Because otherwise, people are going to say, and maybe rightfully, that I'm allowing the station to be played for a fool, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. Okay?
Of course.
So I will allow you because of Vince more than anything, because he said that you were accurate. When I gave you a number to pick between 1 and 100, you weren't close. You were off by 50. You couldn't have been off by much more than that. The number was 34, and you said 86. You weren't close, and so I just don't. I'm real skeptical, obviously. Okay, and I don't want to be rude because there are. I think we're all angels. That's the one thing I kind of.
Yes.
I think we're all angels.
Mm-hmm.
If we have God in our heart and we have the Holy Spirit, we're all angels. But it doesn't mean all angels go around predicting the end of the world.
Oh, I know. See, my case is very unique, and it's probably one of the most important in history. But the thing is that with the true prophets, they kill them. They killed mostly the Old Testament prophets. They killed 11 out of the 12 apostles of Jesus. They killed Jesus. And I have had the vision where I'm going to be killed too. The true prophets are actually the least trusted.
Yeah, I'm being persecuted too right now.
Yeah. No, he's not. No.
Yes, I am. And I want to say one thing too, Daniel. I have a testimony to how I changed the weather system as well. So God does work through us, in and through us. So I don't doubt you. And I love Jerry to have you back on the show again.
Yeah, I would like to, and I hope you'll bring those things. I would like to see it and learn more about it. And I thank you for being on the show.
No problem.
And God bless. I have no opinion on this because I just don't know enough about it. And thank you so much for coming on. You could learn more about Daniel at finalbookofdaniel.com.
And endtimeprophet2012.com. And by the way, Jerry, you liked Battlestar Galactica as a kid. You were an honor roll student, and you have spirit guides named Geraldine, Alan, and Ellaby.
All three of those things are wrong. I'm sorry, they're all wrong. Okay. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye. I don't like Battlestar Galactica. I hate it.
You do?
I don't watch any of it. I can't stand it. Never watched it in my life.
Everybody is concerned about energy costs today. Leaking air distribution ducts could add as much as 20% on your heating and cooling costs. Air Right Heating and Air is here to help with full-service installation and repairs, air duct cleaning, and sealing. Call today, 891-4688. Air Right Heating and Air specializes in energy-efficient systems and solar installations. Locally owned and operated, owner Steve Antini has been in business for over 20 years. Go online to their website, www.airrite.us for specials, discounts, and coupons. Air Right Heating and Air at 891-4688. 891-4688.
Holbrook's Clearance Center.